So behind me is the most expensive electric motorcycle that you can purchase on Amazon today. And it showed up right here. Well, not exactly right here. It actually showed up right there in the most haunted looking UPS facility I've ever seen. Now, I've purchased about 5 different motorcycles that I got from Amazon that were for less than $2,000, and I was actually pretty surprised with the quality. They actually ran and they weren't that bad. I suspect that this might be different. When I first found this bike on Amazon, it was listed for a very suspicious price of $8,888.88. Kind of looked like a typo. But now it's listed for $9,450 plus $200 shipping. And it has 0 reviews. Probably because no one is dumb enough to buy this thing for almost $10,000. So because we needed the van and the trailer for other things, I have to put this bike together right here, right now. What do you mean other things? This is all we have to do today, and I don't have any tools to put the bike together. A couple screwdrivers. This isn't even a tool. It's a half of a flashlight. And hopefully it's got enough charge to get me back to the shop or a charging station, because I gotta ride this thing home. Why are you doing this to me? I thought we were the same person. I gotta be back by 4:30 for the chiropractor. All right, well, we gotta get this thing running. Let's see what we got. Now, apparently this thing's been on the boat for the past 3 months, because I ordered it 3 months ago. Yo, what happened to the frame? This is crazy. Catastrophic damage over here. Look at the other side. Same thing. What has this thing been through? All right, let me see if I can get the tools that I got, and hopefully, I guess the plan is we'll take this cage off, pull the wrapping off the bike, and see what we got. It does look like it's mostly together though. And without my power tools, this was gonna take forever. But I pushed on, and in about 2 hours, I had something that resembled a motorcycle. But will it run? All right, so it's pretty much, it's all put together. There's a key slot right here. Let's see what that does. That pops the seat open. That's what's under the seat. I don't know what that one random red wire does. I hope I don't need it. Put the seat back on. What is it, a switch? Look at this, there's some type of switch. I don't know what that does. I assume if it doesn't work, I'll flip that switch. I'm hoping this thing has some charge. Nothing. I turned the key, it did nothing. Let me try to unlock it. Press the key fob. Nothing. Lightning bolt. Nothing. Drive reverse. Nothing. Okay. All right, it's doing absolutely nothing. Maybe that switch in there is important. All right, something changed from green to red. That sounds like it's doing a bad thing. Oh, it's doing something. Look, it's working. Okay, kickstand's up. How do I make it go? All right, so I had to flip the switch in reverse. The opposite of what it should be. That should make it work. It doesn't. When you flip it, and that's like, closed loop, it actually works. It's doing stuff. So I don't know how much charge it has. I'm not sure how much charge it can have. But let me finish checking everything. The brakes seemed warped. Maybe there's something stuck. I don't know what's going on with that. Let me turn this thing off. Let me clean up my mess, and let's see if we can get this thing back to the shop. All right, so it's all put together. Let's see. Hopefully, it can make it to a gas station. I think there's one over there. We're trying to make it to the gas station. Maybe we can charge it up a little bit. Hopefully, that'll get us home. Man, it's hot. The gas station was only a few hundred feet away, and we still ran out of battery life while pulling in. The good thing about combustion engines is you can fill up within minutes, and gas stations are everywhere. The good thing about small electric motorcycles is if you ask the right person, you can plug in almost anywhere and charge up for free. But the only problem is it takes 8 hours to charge this thing. So we're gonna be here for a while. Man, is it hot. I gotta do something about this. So even though our destination was only 30 miles away, because it only had a stage 1 charger that takes pretty much overnight to fully charge, we had to stop here, here, and then here, just to get back to the shop. So as far as I can tell, the name of this motorcycle is Outdoor Electric Treadmill Bike Racing Motorcycle with big tire spelled the wrong way, smart cooling system. Because motorcycles don't need names anymore, they just need searchable tag words. And this was by far the worst motorcycle I have ever ridden in my entire life. I mean, the brakes are super warped. As soon as you get on the brakes, it dangerously starts to pulsate. The suspension, I don't know how you mess with the suspension on it, but the suspension is just horrible. Even on the smoothest, flattest roads with no bumps, it's bouncing up and down like this. I've had $700 pit bikes, for children, made by crazy companies that had significantly better suspension than this bike does. That cost $10,000. Now, as far as looks of the motorcycle, it's not that bad. It's a kind of a decent looking bike, for an electric bike. But for the life of me, I cannot figure out why this says End Fast Furious on this side, and then the other side says Fast and Furious. I kind of feel like it's one of those things back when the trend of like Chinese and Oriental symbols people would tattoo on their arms and put them on the back of their car, where the symbol looked cool, but we never knew what the meaning was. We just knew it had some type of deep meaning to it, strength and stuff. I feel like maybe in China, people look at this stuff and they're like, hey, what does that mean? And they're like, American culture, special edition. I don't know what that even says. It also has a hilarious bad sticker of Optimus Prime Sports on this side of the battery box. I love that. It makes sense because it is an electric bike and it is also a transformer. Now let's move on to the gauges and the controls. First of all, the keys look pretty awesome. Like this is it feels a little lighter than what it should feel like. But this is a pretty cool looking key, and it comes with these cool key fobs, which as far as I can tell, it didn't work before. Okay. All right, they work, they do stuff. I was gonna say they don't do anything, but they actually do stuff. I guess that turns on the bike. That's pretty cool. So over here you have a couple things that's not right. First of all, it's got a start button that's kind of tucked away down here that they just doubled, and they're like, let's just wire it into the horn because it's an electric bike. It doesn't need a start button. It also has a kill and open switch, or an open and close switch, kill and start switch. And this is opposite. It's backwards of what it should be. It also has Roman numerals 1, 2, and 3, which would make sense if it was like less power, more power, most power. I press them, I don't feel any difference. The bike also has reverse, which is kind of makes sense. It's an electric bike. Why not put it reverse? All you gotta do is, flip a little switch and it switches the polarity of the electric motor. That makes sense. I don't know why you need a reverse in a bike like this, but that's kind of cool. And then other than the controls, everything else is pretty basic, pretty standard for a motorcycle. Now, the way the powertrain's set up, it's actually pretty cool. And this is what makes this bike even quieter than some other electric motorcycles. There's no chain, there's no belt, there's no drive shaft. The electric motor is inside the it's inside the hub of the wheel. Here's your battery box behind Optimus Prime. Somewhere is a wire, a thick wire, that goes through the swing arm, and then here's your electric motor. Honestly, it's pretty cool until you have to take it to your mechanic, and he's got to figure out how to change a tire dealing with all this stuff. Now, maybe it's really simple, but Honestly, I have no clue. The bike also came with a Rogue red wire, which honestly initially horrified me because I was like, this is important, but it works without it, so I'm just gonna leave it in there because eventually I'll figure it out. Now, there's no gears on this motorcycle because there's no gearbox, and because there's no gearbox, there's no clutch, but there's still a lever up here. When I was riding this, I realized there's no lower brake control for the rear brake, which is normally right here on your right foot. What they did was they put the rear brake control up here, like they would with the scooter. It also has a giant storage compartment in here where they store the charger. But having a huge storage compartment inside the vehicle also makes it kind of like a scooter. So when it comes to electrical vehicles, there's three different stages or levels of chargers. If you go to the, like Whole Foods or a gas station with Tesla chargers, there's a superchargers, and those are level 3 or stage 3. And they can charge up an entire car, I think, within an hour. And then the worst one is level 1, which is what you plug into, your 110, house receptacle. This comes with the level 1. So that's all it comes with. So you can never have a quick charge. There is no quick charge option for this bike, which is why yesterday it took us forever because the bike had almost no charge. We would stop for an hour, charge it up, and it only got us a couple more miles, and then we had to charge it again. So with this bike being horrible and everything, you would kind of have to be an idiot to pay $10,000 for this bike. And that's why I didn't pay $10,000. Right before I was about to pull the trigger and buy this thing for $10,000 on Amazon, I got curious and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can find the same bike or a similar bike on Alibaba.com. I go to Alibaba.com. It's not a plug for Alibaba.com, by the way. I go to their website and I find the exact same motorcycle, like the same pictures and everything, for $680. So I contacted the manufacturer. I got the upgraded version. I got the one with the bigger engine. Apparently, I got the one with the longer range, so they say. And I got it shipped. It took 2 months to get here. It cost me $1,900 for it to show up. So now, you kind of look at the bike a little differently, don't you? At $10,000, you're like, wow, you got a piece of junk. That sucks. At $1,900, and it could have been a whole lot cheaper. It could have been around $1,200. But at $1,900, it's like, that's not that bad. That's kind of a cool looking bike, you know what I mean? Maybe put a new front end on there, put the different forks, fix the brakes. It might have potential. A couple videos ago, we found out that the Harley-Davidson Livewire has a range longer than what the manufacturer actually suggests it is. Let's put this thing up against that and see if this thing can do as long as the Harley-Davidson can. Now, the thing is, though, the big problem with this bike is it's not very fast, which in terms of range might be its biggest pro, because this thing might do a whole lot longer. Let's go find out. So I set off to test the range of my new electric motorcycle. So by now, I'm sure you're wondering, how fast is this bike? Because electric motorcycles are known for their fast acceleration and giant torque numbers, but not this one. This one tops out at around 45 miles per hour and pulls off the line possibly slower than everything. It did, however, get me out in this beautiful countryside, and after this montage, I'm gonna mansplain to you the big secret about this bike. Alright, so I'm flashing 1 bar right now. These gauges are very deceptive because I don't have 3 bars solid and then go right to 1 bar flashing, and it's flashing pretty slowly. So I definitely have less power. I can't go as fast as I did with it flashing at the last bar. I'm not sure how much longer it's gonna get. It's got, even though it's saying 3 bars, I think it's done. Yeah, that's it. It says it's got half battery left. That's all she's got. A whopping 34 miles range. That's how far we got with this bike. You can drive this thing flat out for about 40 minutes. Not that impressive. So what I realized about this motorcycle, that it's actually a sheep in wolf's clothing. Take the Super 73 bike, the one that Casey Neistat test drove. It actually has fairly similar specs. It lasts about the same range, but this one goes a little bit faster, but this looks way, way cooler. This is basically a scooter that looks like a motorcycle. The coolest looking scooter you've ever seen. And when you look at it that way, you think about it differently. In the same way that you thought I made a horrible mistake of buying this thing for $10,000, but then when you get that paradigm shift of, oh, you bought it for $2,000, that's not that bad. When someone tells you that that's an awesome looking scooter and performing scooter compared to the worst performing sport bike ever, it definitely changes things. Guys, that wraps up the video. Put in the comments what we should do with this thing next. Subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.